Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Coming up on this edition, we're going to be talking about the Saints 53-man roster and also the practice squad. The Saints make some moves, and they also bring in a very talented receiver. So keep it locked right here. This is the State of the Saints podcast. Let's go.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who dat? Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. I really do appreciate your time, no matter where you are, wherever you may be. Shouts out to everybody that have been here for the last few minutes. I know I was supposed to start the show about 10, 15 minutes ago, but sometimes we got to be on CP time, but at the end of the day, we're here, right? And I'm here to talk about the New Orleans Saints. And once again, still battling a little bit of the cold, man, a little bit of a cold. I'm almost through it, man. I still got an occasional cough and some sniffles, but been taking my medicine. Shouts out to my beautiful wife, nurse, taking care of your boy, getting some chicken noodle soup in my system and give me some Theraflu so I can be able to do this show and have a little bit of energy. Also, I want to give a special shout out to everybody that came over to the NFC South roundtable. That was so much fun, man. It's so great to see so many amazing, wonderful members of the Who Dat Nation that have supported me and support the show. So I really do appreciate it, man. You all come in droves. You always deep in that thing. We always overshadow every other fan base that is affiliated with that. And it's because of people like yourself that believe in a guy from the Ninth Ward like me. And I really do appreciate that. And if you have not checked out the NFC South Roundtable, feel free to do so. It's on YouTube, youtube.com. Search NFC South Roundtable. A lot of fun over there. I think you will probably enjoy that episode because they got your boy fired up, man. So make sure y'all check that out. And also, State of the NFL, new episode dropping a little bit later tonight. If you probably want to go to sleep after this episode, you can catch it in the morning, but feel free to check out those episodes, all right? Now that the church announcements are out of the way, right? Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Saints 53-man roster, because this has been a topic of conversation over the last 2 days, and I know a lot of Saints fans were surprised that Isaiah Foskey didn't make the practice squad. Shouts out to Matthew Paris, man. Oh, man, I had to get him, man. And Matthew, if you're watching this right now, man, look, Matthew, that was such a petty question, bro. You know that man was coming back. But anyway, there are some guys that did make the practice squad, and there was another addition to the New Orleans Saints that was a pleasant surprise. And I got to say, honestly, I wasn't really that surprised by the addition. And I'm going to tell you why, and we'll get into it, all right? For those that do not know, the Saints have signed wide receiver Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer spent the last few years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, he went to Nebraska. He also went to LSU. He is from Kentwood, Louisiana, also the home of Britney Spears. I mean, I see that all the time because they used to have that big billboard when I used to be traveling from New Orleans to Vicksburg. And, you always had that Kentwood sign. They always say home of Britney Spears. But anyway, Trey Palmer joins the New Orleans Saints, 6 foot, about 194 pounds. So he would fit right in his wide receiver room. But this guy's extremely talented, man. This was a guy that ended up, kind of getting lost in the shuffle in Tampa. Of course, they got so many talented guys over there. Got to give them props for that. But with that, a very talented wide receiver ended up being on the street, and the Saints picked him up. And I just thought it would be a good move because I don't know if this is the Saints' new thing now. They're trying to go after LSU players. Maybe it's the fact that they neglected to do that during the time when Sean Payton was the coach. There was always talk about how Sean Payton didn't like LSU players, et cetera, et cetera. But the New Orleans Saints have not been short of LSU players since Sean Payton has left the team. I mean, from Jarvis Landry to the Honey Badger to Kevin Austin, man, I mean, the list goes on and on, man. Like they just picking guys up. Louisiana guys, LSU guys, like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Devon Goshaw, and now Trey Palmer. Like so many different guys, Louisiana and LSU guys. I want to make sure I make that clear too. All right, the guys that's from that area, and I think it does morale, good for the fan base because you see a bunch of homegrown guys, and we all know that a lot of talent comes out of the state of Louisiana, and we always wonder, like, why didn't the New Orleans Saints try to go after him? I think we got our answer. I used to kind of defend Sean Payton and say, you know what, I don't think it's the case, but since he left, I think it was the case. But Trey Palmer, coming to the New Orleans Saints, I got his stats pulled up right here. Just give me a second. I'll let you all know. In 2024, he had 12 receptions for 172 yards, 1 touchdown, and he played in 15 games. I don't want anybody to look at that and say, whoop-de-doo. Like, okay, he'll fit right in. He hasn't been productive. But look, this was a guy, once again, in a crowded wide receiver room. I mean, you had Jalen McMillan. You had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, right? I mean, you got Sterling Shepard out there, Cade Otton. I mean, it's a bunch of talented guys on the offensive side of football for Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, this guy made some plays, man. I mean, he made some plays now. I mean, I can remember him in the playoffs. I think that was probably one of his best games when they took on the Philadelphia Eagles. And, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles were teetering that year, and Tampa ended up, basically putting the final nail in the coffin, eliminating Philadelphia. But Trey Palmer had an outstanding game, including a long touchdown. And I know some Saints fans don't want to hear it, but I mean, he made some plays against the Saints too that were pretty doggone good. So look, this is a young guy that comes to the team. This is something that the New Orleans Saints need, and we're starting to see a trend as we break down this 53-man roster. But once again, he comes to the New Orleans Saints. He went to LSU. A lot of people know about Trey Palmer and his talent, and hopefully he'll be able to put forth that effort. Okay, he played in 17 games, 39 receptions, 385 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Those are his stats over the last couple of seasons. But I think that the Saints really need a guy like Trey Palmer. And who knows, man, this guy could be an integral part of the Saints offense and make some plays. And you align him with a guy like Olave and Shaheed and Cooks and Bailey, it's starting to look very formidable. I know that we get lost in the names. I know, a lot of these guys don't really have that much weight when it comes to the names and the size and all that kind of stuff. And, it don't really move a lot of needles, so to speak. But collectively, I see a bunch of talented guys on this team, man. So if they can put it all together, I mean, they can be formidable. And I'm starting to like what I'm seeing from Kellen Moore and the vision of the New Orleans Saints under his leadership. Seems like he's trying to flip the roster. The Saints are becoming one of the youngest teams in the league. I believe somebody said that offensively, they said Brandon Cooks is like the oldest wide receiver in the room, right? So this is some things that Saints fans have been concerned about, having an older roster. Well, it's going to take some time for some of these guys to figure it out. But once again, I like the vision, man, because we know that the New Orleans Saints needed to focus on getting younger. You have younger players, on really cheap deals. I just got to call it for what it is. You can be able to maybe be a team that can make some waves in free agency in 2026, especially if some of these players work out. And looking at this Saints rookie roster, that they drafted, these guys that came to the team. You see the footprints all in the sand. Quincy Riley has made plays. Danny Stutzman has made plays. Fidel Diggs has made plays. Devin Neal in a final preseason game, he flashed. Calvin Banks. Even Tyler Shuck. I know people want to give him a hard time and they're like, oh man, he a backup. But look, he made some plays, and it's not like this guy doesn't have arm talent. And the jury's still out to see if he can actually be the quarterback that the Saints want him to be. But everybody has contributed in some way, shape, or form, and I like that. And it just kind of reminds me of that draft class the Saints had back in 2017. Now, will it end up being like that? I don't know. But I know very early in the season, you started to see guys flash. I can remember game number 1 versus the Detroit Lions. Marshawn Lattimore with the pick 6. You had Marcus Williams with an interception. Like, you started to slowly see guys making plays, and you realize very quickly that this team was going to be special, including Alvin Kamara leaping over a cornerback's head. Like, you seen it. It was like, okay, man, this young rookie class might be something. And they were able to keep the window open for the New Orleans Saints as Drew Brees transitioned from his prime to the twilight of his career. So this is what the Saints need if they're going to get themselves back into legitimacy in the National Football League. And they're also going to need some of these players. So let's go ahead and break this thing down. And then after that, I'll get to the comments. And once again, everybody that's watching this right now, we got 204 people watching this. Man, thank you all so much. Like, for real, thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. But let's go ahead and get into it. This is what the roster is looking like for us to 53, prior to, the show. Spencer Rattler, of course, is the starting quarterback. Tyler Shuck will be the backup. You got your running backs, which is Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, and Velus Jones. Wide receivers, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cook, Devon Bailey, Mason Tipton, and Trey Palmer. All right, tight ends, you got Juwan Johnson, Jack Stool, and Moliki Maltaval. And you have on the offensive line, Talese Fuaga, Cesar Ruiz, Eric McCoy, Trevor Penning, Calvin Banks Jr., Dylan Radens, Assam Richards, Luke Fortner, and Torricelli Simpkins III. Congratulations. First off, congratulations to Torricelli Simpkins, because once again, y'all know I'm going to show some love to my HBCU people out there, right? He started off at North Carolina A&T, and he transferred to South Carolina. So I watched this guy like throughout his college career. Like, I watched him quite a bit. Living in the Carolinas, North Carolina A&T is often on television around here, and also South Carolina. So to see this guy go out there, and he flashed, make no mistake about it. If the Saints would have waived him, another team would have picked him up. I believe in this kid. I know that he wasn't drafted. I know that he don't come in with the name, but look at the tape, the violence, like the energy that this guy plays with. This is the type of energy I feel can resurrect the Saints offensive line. From the offensive lines of old, like with guys with Jari Evans and Jonathan Goodwin and Bush Ryan, and shouts out to John Stinchcomb and my guy Zach Strief, like all these offensive linemen that were really great players for the New Orleans Saints. He kind of brings that same type of energy that these guys played with. And it's a breath of fresh air. And I'm also appreciating how Kellen Moore is going out, bringing in a different style of offensive lineman, man. Like, I believe in this vision. Now, it remains to be seen if this vision is going to work this year, or are they just basically dropping these breadcrumbs for years to come. I don't know, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. But Torricelli Simpkins, congratulations to that young brother. You got Brian Brzee, Devon Goshaw, this is the defensive line. Christian Boyd, another guy. Definitely. You can see the transition from year 1 to year 2. Jonathan Bullard, Nate Shepard. I was kind of shocked that Nathan Shepard actually made the squad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I didn't really hear that much about him. So I just kind of thought maybe he would have been one of those guys that end up getting lost. But Vernon Broughton, you got Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan, Chase Young, and Chris Rumph, who is no surprise. I mean, he was way more active than Isaiah Foskey. And of course, his relationship with Brandon Staley from his last stop with the Rams, I think it paid dividends for him. I don't feel like he would have brought Rumph here if he didn't see a vision for him. Linebackers, Demario Davis, Pete Warner, Danny Stutzman, Isaiah Stallberg, and Jalen Ford. Jalen Ford, another guy who seemed like he has made a leap from year one to year two. I believe in this kid, man. I think that, his first stop is special teams, as being a part of that. But I think that, over the next few years, you might see him be a part of that linebacker rotation. I think he plays with speed, energy, and, he has really good instincts on the defensive side of football. Danny Stutzman, to me, I know people are excited about him. I think he plays like a guy with his hair on fire. There's some things that he needs to work on, no doubt about it. He's raw, but, I mean, for what he is, from what people expect for him to be, like he makes up for it with energy and passion, and he tries hard. So when the light does come on for him, it's going to be something special, in my opinion. As long as he stays healthy, I think he'll be fine. Isaiah Stallberg, he made plays. He flashed in preseason. There were some plays that he made on special teams. I mean, I can see him flying down the field, making tackles as soon as the ball gets to hit the returner's hands. I like that, man. I mean, the Saints have hungry young players, and that's what you need. Quarterbacks, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alante Taylor, Ugo Amadi, Quincy Riley, Isaac Yadam, and Rejon Wright. Rejon Wright, to me, had one of his best games ever in a Saints uniform, the last game we seen. I mean, he was just all over the field, pass deflections, really good, ball skills, really, did some really good work. And also Ugo Amadi. I think that this system really fits Ugo because, I thought he was on his way out. When the Saints brought him back, I was like, okay, man, maybe it's just a camp body. But he really changed my mind in the final game of preseason. And I want people to understand this. It wasn't against second and third string guys. He was out there in the starting rotation and making plays and flying around the field. It seems like this Brandon Staley defense is allowing guys to not think so hard. It's allowing them to utilize their athleticism and skill set to be able to play loose and free and kind of freestyle things, right? Tap into the things that these guys do best. And I think it's working out for a lot of these players because, in a previous system, and no disrespect to Dennis Allen, I feel like the Bears defense is going to be good under him. But I just think that maybe this system fits them a little bit better where guys can just play free and don't have to think so much. And, instead of all that sophistication from a Dennis Allen defense. Safeties, Justin Reed, Julian Blackman, JT Gray, Jonas Sinker, and also Jordan Howden. So, I mean, we already know what Sinker is. I mean, it's only a matter of time, folks, before this guy is probably, making an impact on his football team. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. I think that this guy is going to end up being a household name and a fan favorite. Like he has some. I'm gonna tell you who he reminds me of, and some of my older Saints fans can appreciate this. He reminds me of a young Sammy Knight. That's who he reminds me of. Like the way Sammy Knight was always involved in a play. Like he had the ability to be able to get the ball back to the offense. I mean, and he played with a lot of energy. He kind of reminds me of that type of player in Sammy Knight. So, I mean, only time will tell where he ended up being that guy, but like a Sammy Knight, but he kind of got some traits that resemble that of a Sammy Knight. And also, let's see, we got the specialists, Blake Groupie, Kai Kroger, and also Zach Woods, a long-time long snapper. Kai Kroger, I don't know, man. You might want to write that in pencil because we know that the New Orleans Saints were trying to make a trade for the punter from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry, his name escapes me. I had it, and I lost it in the process of trying to read all this stuff and talking. But the fact that they're actually willing to go out here and trade for a punter, first off, Mickey Loomis, come on, man. Come on, man. Like, come on. Why are we trading for a punter, man? We need these draft picks. And also, man, you got a really good punter that's out here right now. I mean, I know he's up there in age, but he's punt for a long time in the NFL. And I think Saints fans know him pretty well. He came to the team, back in 2009 from SMU. Y'all probably know him. I think he actually still stays in New Orleans. His name is Thomas Morstead. So all you got to do is basically just call him up. He doesn't have to go far. He just hop in a car and just comes to the facility. So why not bring in Thomas Morstead? I think that he'll give you consistency, at least for right now. And maybe you can actually bring in a young punter that can learn under him or something. I don't know. But you have to figure this thing out, man. You got to figure this thing out. And also you have to practice squad. So when the Saints did their final 53 on yesterday, Cedric Wilson and Jack Stoll were on the 53-man roster. But, of course, they brought some guys in. And we know if you sign a guy off waivers, he has to be a part of your 53-man roster. So, of course, they wanted to acquire Trey Palmer. So, Cedric Wilson, he goes to the practice squad, and they wanted to sign some other players as well that ended up, have to be a part of the 53. So Jack Stoll and Cedric Wilson had to go to the practice squad along with Kevin Austin Jr. They bring him back. A pleasant surprise, Trayton Welch. I think there's a lot there that they can actually tap into. Seems like this guy is willing to make some plays. Might even end up, who knows, being that true tight end that the Saints have needed for a very long time. I'm happy to see a guy like Trayton Welch be a part of the Saints offense because Kellen Moore likes to utilize tight ends. Like if you look at the stops that Kellen Moore has made as a coordinator, you always see production from tight ends. Gerald Everett with the Chargers, Ferguson, Dalton Schultz. Like all these guys end up making plays with Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator, and also Dallas Goedert had some of his best numbers statistically last season with the Philadelphia Eagles. So having a guy like Trayton Welch, you can tap into that type of potential. I think that you have something there. The quarterbacks they brought back, Hunter Deckers, here back for the third time after being cut. The Saints put him on the practice squad along with Jay Haener. I think that this is probably going to be the Andy Tanner treatment for Hunter Deckers. Some of you probably know who Andy Tanner is. Andy Tanner was a wide receiver on the Saints team who got cut about 20 times, and the Saints kept on bringing him back. Maybe, Hunter Deckers is going to be the New Orleans Saints under Kellen Moore's version of Andy Tanner. But you also have Easton Kilty. He's back. He's offensive lineman. Defensive lineman, you have Fidel Diggs and Jonah Williams, two young, very promising players right here. Both of them made some plays in preseason. Nephi Sewell, a guy that's been on the team for a few years. You also have Jaden Price. I look for him probably to be a part of the special teams. Terrell Burgess, Elliot Davidson, and they also bring back Charlie Smith to the practice squad as well. So, Charlie Smith is one of those guys that the Saints believe in. Big leg kicker, and this is somebody that can maybe if something was to happen, and I'm knocking on wood because your boy kicking out his freaking mind right now, Blake Groupie, Charlie Smith can come in and, maybe the production will not drop. But that is your 53-man roster along with the 15-man practice squad. So I'm pretty sure it'll fluctuate, change, over time. But as of right now, that's where the Saints are. And I'm not mad at it, man, because I see a lot of young, promising players. I don't see guys who are old warriors, still trying to go out there for their last battle. And, they still feel like they got something left in the tank. I don't have a problem with this. I told y'all. I know, people wanted to go out here and get some of these guys with names. I heard Odell Beckham Jr., Keenan Allen. I wouldn't have been objective to that, because of his, time with Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore. But at the same time, I like the vision. I like the fact that the Saints are trying to embrace change. Like we've talked about this. Like, the Saints need to get younger. Well, they're doing that. The Saints need a facelift. They're doing that. So you got to have the patience. I think that most Saints fans, logical Saints fans, can see the vision. So you just got to allow the vision to play out. And the more that I see this team start to come together, the more optimistic I'm feeling about this season. I'm not saying playoffs, but I think that the New Orleans Saints might be in better shape than a lot of people giving them credit for, because the national media and the energy that some of these people coming with it's like the Saints are just one of the most hopeless teams in the league. And I think a lot of that has a lot to do with nostalgia. The fact that, the New Orleans Saints historically have been known for being a bad football team. So I guess they feel like, it's basically, the earth is basically, rotating yet again, where the Saints are at the bottom and, slowly trying to make their way back to the top. I don't know, man. All I know is I like what Kellen Moore is doing right now. I see the vision. And if you want to try to get this thing on track, you're definitely going to need some young players to make that happen. But let's go ahead and read some of these donations here. Thank you, Alfred, for the $1.99. It says it's crazy how our team changed since January. Necessary changes too, Alfred. Necessary changes. Thank you for the $1.99. It says Hainer or Easton Stick. I'm rolling with Hainer, man. I'm rolling with Hainer. Hainer is a knowledgeable guy. Y'all already know how I feel about Jake Hainer, man. I just think that there's levels to this. I don't think he'll ever be a starter in the National Football League. But I think that there's a place for him. His knowledge, like his ability to be able to understand plays, I think is going to be beneficial to Spencer Rattler. Because now that he knows, okay, man, this is my place, I think that he's going to be extremely helpful. I mean, it's a little different from, last year where you're trying to compete and you're basically being swapped between you and Spencer Rattler with Derek Carr as the starting quarterback. Now it's like, okay, I know where I'm at. And I just think that, he's probably going to be extremely helpful to Spencer Rattler. So I like Jake Hainer. I think he's a really good football mind. I think that that's probably his most underrated trait. In John Cena's y'all get nothing. Says Rico Payton to the Giants and DeMarco Jackson to the Bears. B. Creole, that's no surprise about DeMarco Jackson going to the Bears. Of course, we know Dennis Allen is the defensive coordinator, and I expect for DeMarco Jackson to probably be a special teams ace, probably be their version of a Craig Robinson. I mean, he is a really good special teams player, man. And I'm pretty sure it was a tough decision for the New Orleans Saints to cut him because of his production as a special team player. And look, I'm happy for Rico Payton. I'm serious, man. Like, I don't want to see guys being lost on the practice squad. If these guys show promise, like I know that you don't want them to leave out of the door, but if they have an opportunity to play and be a part of a roster somewhere else, man, I'm rooting for them because we know that Rico Payton shows some promise. And if he can go to the Giants and, make and jumpstart his career and, get going and be a part of their rotation, I'm happy for him. I don't want to see these guys basically in sweatshirts and sweatpants on the sidelines if they can go out there and contribute. I'm pretty sure that's not what he wants. I mean, him coming out of Pittsburgh State, this guy wanted to play, and he showed flashes. So good luck to that brother, man. Both of them. I like the youth movement that's in place. We got the right vets for this rebuild too. Yeah, I mean, you got a good combination, Justin, of seasoned veterans who can keep these young guys in line and also keep the locker room accountable. I mean, you don't get better leaders than Cam Jordan and Demario Davis on your football team. All right. I mean, those two guys are not only just the face of the Saints, but you can make an argument that they're one of the faces of the league, especially like these guys being older. They serve almost as like NFL ambassadors. So, they're definitely guys that are in the locker room that you need. And you're going to need that with young players. And you can throw Brandon Cooks in there as well. He's been in a lot of football games, and I think it'll be beneficial to that wide receiver room having somebody like Cooks in there as well. The national media said we're going on 17. I was cutting up on YouTube. Look, they can say whatever they want, but you got to play the games. And, all this stuff for the most part is about entertainment. People just throw things against the wall hoping that they stick. And, in this microwavable world that we live in, Desi, people just get information and it's like in one ear and out the other. So you can say any outrageous, bogus thing and it don't even have to come to fruition. There's so much content being saturated in this market and in this world. People tend to forget some of the things that you say. So I can just throw this out here, It's basically like I'm just throwing it into a bottomless pit. But look, you got to play the game. You got to play the games, man. And if, If the Saints end up not having a successful season, well, everybody understands it's a rebuild. But I honestly feel that this team has something to prove, and I don't think they're going to be as bad as people think that they are. I really don't. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to win a division, and I do feel like they're going to go through the motions. But just to think that these guys going to roll over each and every week, I think you're sadly mistaken. What's good, TJ and the Who Dat fam? What's going on, Tim? Thank you for being here. Greatest name in the world, by the way. Saints ain't going on 17. That just hater talk. Yeah, it must have been a Falcon fan out there or something like that trying to talk about him. I don't know. And let be real, the media never liked us with Breeze. Hell, you know how they're going to treat us without him. Yeah, because look, we all know that the NFL is, it's about narratives, nostalgia. Like, man, that's the reason why most shows lead off with stories about the Dallas Cowboys and the Steelers and Packers, and all these other teams, right, that have been historically known for being good. And because of that, they have a strong fan base. It's about ratings at the end of the day, folks. So they want to big up those teams, and they want the teams that's kind of like at the bottom or smaller markets. They want to like kind of just throw little nuggets out there to make people believe that, they're not even worth our time. But if you think about this thing logically, like, let's just be serious about this. And there's no disrespect to any, fans out there, these teams. They love their team just as much as, we all, love the New Orleans Saints. But what have the Dallas Cowboys done in the last 30 years? Like, I'm talking about like prosperity, Super Bowls. They've done nothing. It's just the fact that they have a meddling owner who is also a GM who is very polarizing, which the reason why they put them on TV, and they have a really strong fan base. So they get talked about all the time. It's about ratings. It's about keeping eyeballs on the product. So, of course, the Saints are a small market team who have been historically known for not being very good. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right. Sometimes, like when I move with my hands, my camera senses it, so it basically, keep me out of focus. But got my cup right here, man. So trying to keep myself from not coughing. All right. But anyway, the Saints are historically known for not being very good, right? Before, Drew Brees got there. So that's the narrative. Oh, they the Aints. They put the paper bags on their head. So if you have a reason to like keep that narrative going and bring up the past, like, of course they're going to keep on talking about it. But at the same time, the New Orleans Saints need to give them something to talk about that is like productive. Like right now, we don't want to hear it, but the New Orleans Saints have been in hell over the last 3 to 4 years. They have not been worth talking about. Seriously, like you got to give them something to talk about. Like if that's the case, but look, we can't like talk in the house and be talking loud with the windows up and don't expect for people on the outside to don't know what's going on. Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all know, like when, your mom, you probably had a family member, they probably fussing in the house and somebody just jumping in, man, y'all be quiet, man. We got the windows open, the door open, the neighbors can hear you. Like we know what's going on. So it's going to seep out. So we know what it is, man. They hear us talking about Mickey Loomis. They hear us talking about the same salary cap. They hear us talking about the Asian play. Like they see that. They follow you all on social media. They may not want to admit it, but they read the pulse of the Who Dat Nation in order for them to formulate their opinions. And there's no love lost. So they're gonna pour, as my grandfather often says, pour water on a drowning man. Plain and simple. So let's just keep it a buck, man. You got to give them something to talk about. Y'all know me, man. I don't fake the funk. I love the New Orleans Saints, but it has not been good over the last couple of years. I see some promise. I see some things that I feel like make me believe they're trending in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it's just one of those situations where it's like, you got to give them something positive to talk about. It's kind of hard for us to kind of find some things to talk about at times. So I can't knock them. But you know the best way for them to be quiet? Success. You know it and I know it. Strolling down. Lee Ty Simpson going to go crazy. They just America's team. I mean, I don't know who we talking about. Look, but man, speaking of Cowboys, let's take a minute. Let's get away from this. It just made me think about something. So, as many of you already know, if you've been following the show, you know my son Paxton. He's been playing flag football over the last couple of years. Man, he started off, when he was in kindergarten, and he's playing for the 49ers flag football team, and now the flag football league that he plays in, they decided to kind of mix things up. So they wanted the kids to compete in a combine. I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. So Paxton competed in a combine, did pretty doggone good, man. So in the process, they gave the coaches of these flag football teams opportunity to select players. And would you believe that the coach of the Cowboys selected my son? My son, Paxton, this season will be playing for the Cowboys in the flag football league. Dark day in this house, but look, it could have been worse. He could have got selected by them Falcons, man. But because they do have a Falcon football league out there. The Saints team, they end up, they're like for 12 and 13-year-olds out there. So they're like for the upper class. But the good thing is, he was one of them ones that got selected pretty quickly. So, I mean, he did pretty good out there, man. He was moving. So they end up breaking it down. He got selected by them. So, got to watch my son have that star on his jersey, man. But as a father, man, y'all already know, man, you got to support. Man. Yeah. But back to the football, man. Back to y'all questions. Whoo! That just made me think about it because we mentioned the Dallas Cowboys. Olave, Shaheed, Penny, and Alante are up for new contracts. How would you handle those contracts? If they want to continue to stay with the team, go out there and play. You got a couple guys on this team I feel like are no-brainers. The only two I feel like that are no-brainers, and y'all may not want to hear this, and this may be a controversial take to some, but Shaheed and Alante. And notice I didn't say Olave because here's the thing. Olave is talented. And yes, you know what I'm saying? He has number one wide receiver qualities. But I need to see my boy, I need to see this man have a monster season. He showed flashes, the one-hand snags, those acrobatic catches that he catches at times. But, man, he gotta be a little bit more consistent with it. And he has to stay healthy, man. I mean, fair or unfair, that's just the way the NFL works. I'm not saying that he's terrible, but Alante Taylor to me and Rashid Shaheed, the only two guys that you mentioned, King Arthur, that I feel like are a no-brainer. I still feel like there's some question marks about Chris Olave. They'll probably end up paying him anyway. That's just the way the Saints work. They're gonna end up paying him. I don't know about Trevor Penny. I don't care if Trevor Penny come out there and look like something at left guard. I'm still probably not signing him. I just think that you just need to go in a different direction, man. You just need to look at it as a pleasant surprise, be happy about it, but treat it just like how the Eagles did Mekhi Becton, right? Or Mekhi Becton had a really solid season at guard, but they ain't signed him back. They allowed him to go to the Chargers? I feel like the same way with Trevor Penny. And go out there and maybe see what you got. I don't know, see what Torrey Simpkins can do, or go to the draft, excuse me, and in the second round or the third round or some of these other rounds, pick yourself a guard. I'm tired of trying to find puzzle pieces. I'm tired of trying to find places for these guys to go put them in, we trying to fix a puzzle here. Nah. I think that it's time out for that. Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks is a left tackle. Played left tackle in Texas. Was a dog at Texas. Looked like he's going to be a dog on the New Orleans Saints team at left tackle. You got Tella Ese-Fuagu played right tackle in college, and he playing right tackle in the pros. That's the way that it should be. If a guy shows you what he was, believe him and draft him for that position. Don't try to move him around to try to justify a bad decision. Because unless let's just keep it 100. We're talking about salvaging Trevor Penny's career right now. We already it was a bad decision because you drafted him to be the successor to Teron Armstead. It didn't work out. So right now, you're basically just trying to justify having him on the team, but you didn't select him to be in this position. You're just trying to find a place for him to justify drafting him because we saw something in him, but you didn't see left guard in him because if you did, he would have been one. But I can tell you who was saying it the entire time. When I seen him have in his very first preseason game, when he ranked very, very low at pass protection, and he was so good at run blocking that his PFF grade was super high because the run blocking grade, it just basically trumped the passing protection, and it was so high that it made it look like he was credible. Right now, you're just trying to find a place for him. So if you're just trying to find places for guys, I just think that it's time out for that. It's time out for it. Find yourself guys that are easy studies. You can plug them in place, and they give you instant success. And I'm not saying going to be a full body of work. Most college players aren't coming out of college. But let them flash. Let them flash. That's all I'm saying. Let's see if they can actually flash. If they can flash, and they showing you something in college, man, keep them right there in the pros. TJ, what number is your son? My son is number 7. He's been number 7 since he's been with the 49ers. But I don't know, man. He might end up changing his number. They asked what numbers would we want. It was 0 or 7. So if they don't have number 0, he's gonna end up being 7. Because I was showing him this is the reason why. So I was showing him different running backs. So I'm teaching him about different running backs because he likes to run the football. So I showed him Reggie Bush. That was the first running back I showed him. Then I showed him Saquon Barkley and Adrian Peterson. And then I showed him Ollie Gordon. And he just likes his name. He's like, Ollie. So, and he was like, he's number 0, Daddy. So I was like, yeah, okay. And, he kind of, reminds me of that a little bit. He's a bigger kid, compared to all the other kids out there. And he's just like a one-cut guy, and he, catch the ball out of backfield. So he was like, I said, would you want to be number 0? He's like, yeah. So if they have number 0 available, he'll probably be number 0. But he's been number 7 in the entire time. So, and I didn't even realize, I promise you, that was just a coincidence. I didn't even think about it. So, he was number 7 for the 49ers. I didn't even think about it. Y'all already know, who was number 7 for the 49ers. I didn't even think about it, and he. So, but anyway, yeah, he's number 7. How you wearing a do-rag with no waves? Penix garbage. Hey, man. Hey, he got waves now. I give him that, man. That man need a sporty waves deal. And he trying to bring that silk do-rag back, bro. He trying to bring it back. He trying to bring that thing back, man. Man, do guys still wear do-rags like that? I can remember like growing up, high school, college, Nelly, Nelly Moe. Shouts out to Nelly. Nelly used to wear the do-rag, and had the hat to the back. And y'all know, man, that was that phase where everybody used to wear clothes that were 3-4 sizes too big for them. So you'll go to Foot Action or Foot Locker and get the tall tees, 3 for $20, t-shirts 5 for $20. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. He used to get go to the hat shop and you'll probably wear a 7.5 fitted, but you wearing an 8 so it can go over the do-rag. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. But I'm just wondering, do people still wear do-rags like that? And I'm not trying to knock the guy, you know what I'm saying? That's just his thing. He's trying to bring it back. I just remember Lil Wayne was saying that, I'm talking 1-2 wave back, like a silk wife beater and a wave cap. Look, man, I ain't got nothing against Penix, man, because y'all let's just keep it a buck. Man. If the Saints would have drafted Michael Penix, y'all would have been happy. Y'all would have been happy if y'all would have seen him. But look, He played for the Falcons, man. So we already know, man, they're going to find a way to screw that up. They're going to find a way to screw that up. Y'all know it, man. Y'all know it's going to happen, man. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, man. And I love it, man. It's like, man, a Falcon fan is like clockwork. It's almost like Groundhog Day. We'll get into that a little bit later, man. I would still want to be talking. I don't want to spend my time talking about that. We'll do that towards the end of the show, man. We'll do that towards the end. TJ, you had me dying when you interrupted Clay to tell Berto you always making excuses. Either you got it or you don't. Yeah, man. Look, I tell people all the time, man, Berto is my guy. Like, straight up, man. Like, me and Berto talk, like, off air. Like, man, we have, like, me, Smitty, and Berto have a lot in common, right? And some of you know who Smitty is. He was the Falcon representative last season. It's my guy. Shouts out to Smitty. If you're watching this right now, man, Smitty, man, love to you, man. But yeah, man, it is. I had to keep it a buck, man. I had to keep it a buck, man. I'm like, bro, it's rather you got it or you don't. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here like if the Saints lose, they lost, right? I ain't gonna be, man, we had this. Like, we all know. If the New Orleans Saints probably had better health, if things didn't go sideways last season, they probably would have had a better, ain't no problem. They would have had a better record. They came out hot as fish grease. And even the game they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, it wasn't like the Philadelphia Eagles smoked them or something. Game was what, 12-10 for a good little minute of the game. So they were basically going toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl champions. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, there's nothing you can do about it. It was a bad season. All rats. Keep it moving. It's like, man, if this would have happened, if that would have happened, bruh, no excuses. No excuses, man. You lost 6-7 games in a row, man. So I'm like, man, I can't sit up here and say that because man, one thing that just bothers me, man. Like when we can't face reality. I know, like, everybody has passion about their team, but sometimes, like, our passion sometimes can help, and I'm not talking about Berto. I'm talking about, like, when you talk to Falcon fans, like, they want you to sit up there and just crown a team because they got key additions. Like, that's cool and all, but we're not simulating Madden. Like, you gotta put in that work, man. You gotta put in that work. Like, I'm not, like, seriously. Would you go, like, think about this, folks. Would you go to a bank and ask for a business loan and your credit is trash? Would you go to a car dealership with no down payment if your credit was trash? Right? Would you do that? No, you wouldn't. Why would you waste the dealer's time and your time? You know you about to walk out of there and get in that same car that you drove up there with. No trade, no nothing. Why? Because you don't have no equity. Like, you haven't done enough for them to believe that you actually gonna pay your payments on time. So why would they invest in you? That's my whole point. You got to show somebody something. And that includes our beloved New Orleans Saints. They can assemble this team, and this team, like, can look like a contender. I'll give you a prime example. Y'all remember a couple of years ago where the Saints was out here and they was getting guys like Champ Bailey and, and all these other different players. We like, man, they was talking about, the Saints prime for a Super Bowl. I don't even think the Saints made the playoff that year. All I'm saying is, like, you can look good on paper, but you got to be able to put in that work. And until you put in that work, it's hard for me to believe you. It's hard for me to believe you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not about to sit up here and hitch my wagon. And I ain't about to just sit up here like, oh, man, y'all got who? Oh, man, y'all about to win it all. No, sir. No, sir. The fact we depended on Rattler development is crazy. Well, that's where we are. And Barnes, that's where we was going to be anyway. That's like, honestly, everybody knew at the end of the day, when Derek Carr wasn't coming around, we kind of knew what the direction the Saints were going to go in. It was going to be Rattler or, They probably could have got somebody else or whatever. But we knew that Rattler was going to have to be in a conversation somewhere. And look, if it doesn't work out, I'm okay with that. I'm serious. I'm okay with that. But Spencer Rattler deserves, and I want to make this very clear. He deserves an opportunity because he earned it. Plain and simple. Excuse me. He earned his opportunity to be a starter. Nobody gave him anything. As a matter of fact, I truly believe if you was to put the Saints brass on a polygraph test and ask them, who would you prefer to be the quarterback? I guarantee you, if they say Spencer Rattler, that thing will start jumping. I'm telling you, like, this guy took this job. He earned it. So he earns the right for us to see what he can actually be with some talent around him. Everybody's around here talking about 2024. Like, stop doing these things, man. Like, I want to paint a picture for you, okay? And you tell me if this makes sense. You believed that the New Orleans Saints in 2024 had the wrong coach. You had bad strength and conditioning programs, right? Guys stayed getting hurt. You had questionable coaching, coaches giving up on players, all these different things. We know that they lost the locker room. You know that. So how is it that you can accept that and say, oh, the New Orleans Saints look like trash because Dennis Allen had the team in shambles? You understand that, but you can't understand that the way that the team looked and Dennis Allen having a team in shambles may play a role in how Spencer Rattler played. You can't do that. So that right there was terrible. But he should have been able to rise above that. Come on, man. Come on. You would do better if you erase 2024 from your mind, because 2024, when it comes to the leadership with Dennis Allen and his coaching staff, it doesn't exist. And if you're going into 2025 with that same type of energy for a coach that has not coached in a regular season game, and Kellen Moore, who obviously is trying to put his fingerprints on his football team and trying to put the right that once went wrong with Dennis Allen, he deserves an opportunity. Why are we still in 2025 with 2024 in the mind? I get it. We want results, but you got people not even giving this dude a chance. Why? Because he couldn't rise above throwing to Dante Pettis and Kevin Austin. Dante Pettis played pretty decent in preseason, but he's not on the team. Kevin Austin, he's on the practice squad. You got Marquez Valdez-Scantling came to this team after Buffalo was like, nah, ain't nothing there. Nothing to see here, folks. We was relying on a guy who came off the street, and he ended up being the best receiver on the team because Olave and Shaheed were one on the team because of injury. So we can understand that. We can understand Dennis Allen was a bad coach, but all that don't matter because Spencer Rattler ain't good enough. How about allowing this guy better circumstances, better situations, put him in those situations that are beneficial to him, and let's get a sample size, a good sample size, a fair sample size of what he can possibly be. Hey, if it doesn't work out, fine. You got your answer. Spencer Rattler isn't the starting quarterback of the Saints. But I'd rather you figure this out now than to be doing this over and over again and kicking the can down the road like you've been doing the salary cap. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? So all I'm saying is, how can we come to the conclusion about bad decisions by Mickey Loomis, bad coaching by Dennis Allen, and don't think that could play a role in a young player and his developmental process? if you also combine the fact that he did not have anybody that he can really truly lean on that was out there. So this man was basically out there in the woods and his flashlight went out. If you like, I just wish that sometimes we just allow things to formulate first in order for us to be able to come to a conclusion. I just feel like there's way too much rush to judgment when it comes to guys. If we reach that conclusion, then fine. But let's not act oblivious to the obvious that is right in front of your face. Let's not, oh, I accept this right here. Let me cut this off, even though this is a part of it. I don't want this, but I take this. Like, come on, man. This team did not set this dude up for success. They did not. And by them not doing so, you cannot fairly judge Spencer Rattler fully as a quarterback. Now, you can talk about some of the things that he may lack. Definitely need to hold on to the football. Definitely need to send some pressure in the pocket. I'm all for that. But with the right coaches, in the right circumstances, and the right cast of characters around him, why can't this guy find success? Or better yet, if he doesn't, why can't we give him the opportunity to try to find it? We just throw guys away because they're not overnight sensations. Oh, he ain't got it. But you ever ask yourself the question, why doesn't he have it? Why doesn't he have it? Or is it just the fact that, oh, man, he ain't got it. He ain't rising above the situation? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know why. But it's just like, we'll see a player, guy been in the league 1 year, might had like minimal production. Could have been he in a crowded locker room. Could have been coach felt like, oh, I'd rather go with these contract guys more so than this guy. First thing we do, Saints sign such and such. Go to Wikipedia. Look at his stats. Oh no, man, he didn't do nothing last year. Did you watch the games? Did you see why he didn't do anything? Or better yet, did you go and watch some of the things that he does well and see how he could actually fit on your team? Of course not. First thing we start looking at, 50 receptions or more, right? Oh, he didn't do that. 700-800 yards, that's what we looking for. How many touchdowns? Is it close to double digits? Like, man, come on, man. Like, I just feel like you got to give people opportunities to be able to figure themselves out. I get it, man. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win, man. But, hey, I'm going to give a guy an opportunity. I'm going to give him a chance. And I feel like Saints fans need to give him a chance because, number one, you have no choice because the Saints are going into the season week 1 versus the Arizona Cardinals, and he's your quarterback. So it don't matter if I don't think he the quarterback. I don't think he the answer. Well, the Saints think he is. So what are you going to do? Turn your TV off? Don't watch, right? If that's how you feel about it. Or is it like this Jedi mind trick that you're trying to fool yourself? Like, okay, if I say he bad, maybe he'll play good. Like, I don't know. Get a guy a chance. The same fans who keep talking about tanking for Arch will be the same ones ready to move on from him if he struggles early on. Brandon, absolutely right. And then at the same time, I hope the young man have an incredible season at the University of Texas. But if you're a Saints fan, why are you thinking about Arch Manning? Like, seriously, you shouldn't even want your team to even, you should want the guys that you have in the locker room to find success, to be able to help you, to be able to be a contender, to win football games. Like, look, the cream always rises to the top. It always rises to the top. So you're going to get your answer sooner rather than later. So if these guys can't rise above their situation, it will be on full display. So you'll get them anyway. But to say you want the Saints to go out here and play like it's an episode of the Three Stooges or something in order for you to, like, why? And to be quite honest with you, if that was the case, I've been a Saints fan for 39 years. I'll lose a little respect for the organization if I felt like they was out there just throwing anything out there hoping to fail. Like, I think I would lose little respect for the organization. Why would you want to root for an organization that's not trying to win? Why would you? And and that's a defeated attitude, man. Like, I don't get it, man. Like, I respect teams that keep trying. Like, at least they're trying to win. At least they trying to be better. Like, they trying to improve their situation. It's like people just want them to suck. Like, okay, let's go out here. I used to do something like when I used to be in franchise mode, right? Like, I would rebuild the team. So what I would do is I make like Thomas Morstead my quarterback. I make I put like all the lowest rating players at the top, and I simulate the season. So I know the Saints gonna have the number 1 pick because I start the following season. It's like some of y'all want to do that. Like, this ain't Madden. Like, like, that's not how a rebuild process works. You have guys that are playing. These are prideful men. They got wives, kids, mortgages, car payments, all like families to take care of. They not thinking like Saints fans. You ain't like, we will never be as invested in a team as the players that are on the field. Emotionally invested, yes. But these games are these guys' livelihoods. So they'll never think like you and me. Oh man, this ain't gonna work out. Like, these dudes like out there trying to win. Because if they don't put their best foot forward, if they don't show production on the field, guess what? They're going to have a conversation with their wives, their kids. Like, oh man, your kids like finding friends at this school, and then all of a sudden I get cut. Now we got to move some other town. Like, these dudes trying to stay put as long as they possibly can to try to set up a life for themselves and their families. So they don't think like you and me. They never will. Like, you can want Tank all day, but I guarantee you, the only Tank Cam Jordan worried about is his son. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't thinking about no Tank. No Tank. Shouts out to Cam Jordan. But the thing is, like, that's the only Tank he thinking about. He ain't thinking about losing no football games. This man trying to win as many games, and he knows that he can't play forever. That's what this guy's thinking about. Talking about tanking. You think like Demario Davis thinking about that? Now, these dudes trying to win. So it don't matter. Like, oh man, we just need to quit. We just need to tank. Okay. They talk bad about getting Devon Vele in a trade after they talked about getting a big wide receiver. You just can't please some fans. It's because Rob, plain and simple. And look, we've already talked about the 53-man roster. Now we about to have some Who Dat Church up in here today. Saints fans, some of them get so fixated on names. And if a guy doesn't have a name that you recognize, all of a sudden he ain't got the game to go with it. You don't know what these guys are. Who knew what a 6'4" former tight end from Hofstra? And if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think Hofstra got a football team anymore. But a guy who knew who Marcus Colston was. But you know who he is now. But what if the New Orleans Saints would have thought like some of these fans? Oh, the Saints drafted Marcus Colston. We're going to make him a starter. Oh, man, nobody know who he is. He went to Hofstra. He ain't go to Ohio State. He ain't go to Michigan. What the guy end up being? The all-time leading receiver in New Orleans Saints history. The greatest wide receiver in New Orleans Saints history. Like, if the Saints start like fans, and that's what Saints fans need to get away from. It's about how can a guy fit. Everybody is not going to be 1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, gold jacket after 10 to 12 years of production. Everybody's not going to be like that. For Eric LeBron, you need a Mike Miller or a Kyle Korver out there to shoot that three. It goes without saying. LeBron James is a Hall of Famer. It depends on who you talk to, the greatest basketball player of all time. But Mike Miller still needs to make that three. And Mike Miller may not sniff the Hall of Fame. But guess what? His three is meaningful. So if Devon Vele can come in and you already have a guy who you expect to have 1,000 yards in Chris Olave, flirt with 1,000 yards, or even have 1,000 yards in Rashid Shaheed. Maybe 600-700 yards for a guy like Brandon Cooks. if this guy gets 500-600 yards, that's not a bad thing because he is not your number one receiver. So everybody wants 1,000 yards of production. He gets 1,000 yards. He gets 1,000 yards. He gets it don't work like that. You need role players too. That don't mean that those guys are less dogs than any other guys. Some guys are just otherworldly talented. And they're going to get the majority of the targets, and they'll get the most chances to be able to score touchdowns and obtain yards. But we got to get away from that. Oh, I don't know who he is. A who? A lot of who's end up being Hall of Famers. Back in the 1980s, a wide receiver from Mississippi Valley State University in Inabena, Mississippi, became the greatest wide receiver of all time. His name was Jerry Rice. So if everybody like Jerry Rice out of Mississippi Valley, who? A lot of who's in the Hall of Fame, man. A lot of who's. A lot of who's, man. A lot of who's in the Hall of Fame. Now, I think you keep him in if he's cooking. I don't think nobody expect us to win the first 4 games for real. Yeah. If the Saints look respectable, if the offense is clicking, they in games, they fighting to the end, they showing competitiveness, and, why would you pull them? It's crazy that Colston didn't make the Pro Bowl. I always say, man, it was just the era that he played in. He was the last player out that school to get drafted. Jimmy Graham, too, mostly basketball and balled out. Right. Jimmy Graham. Who? Some fans get spoiled with the Breeze Payton era. They don't understand how bad the Saints were before that era. Trust the process. Yeah, I mean, because, but they don't know what they don't know. And like I said, I'm not going to judge anybody for that. I say that very often here on the show. But, and I just feel like if you want to talk about a rebuild, you got to get a team an opportunity to do that. TJ, these are grown men with family, career, and legacies at stake, and most have no guarantee of being on these teams beyond the current season. They don't give a damn about some college kid. They don't. They don't care about no college kids. And honestly, they don't care about what I think. They don't care about what the media thinks or social media thinks. Like, they just don't. Like, they say that all the time. And I know some people like, yeah, they care. No, they don't. No, they don't, man. Because the moment you start caring about what social media think, that's when you really lost yourself and you really have fallen. And I don't think those guys are like that, man. Like, football, all the greats, they were made of some different type of stuff, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, it was different. So the moment they start caring about what a naysayer say, that's the moment where they lose who they are. So these guys are focused, man. They dialed in. These guys are on airline, in the playbook, in these sessions, trying to get better. And they trying to think about beating the Arizona Cardinals and all the other teams that they got to play this season. So they ain't thinking about no tanking. We not out here. We not out here, like these guys out there on the field. Like, we not out there like that. They don't think like us. We think about it from an emotional standpoint because we're so emotionally invested in this football team. Rather, wherever you jumped on the bus, right? Rather you were 70s. Shouts out to all the 70s Saints fans, 80s Saints fans, 90s, 2000s, 2010, like wherever you fell in, right? Everybody's story is different. They ain't thinking like us, man. We emotionally invested in the football team because we grew up cheering for this team. Or rather, we found this team during the time Drew Brees became the quarterback. But wherever you fell in, just know, man, these dudes are human beings. And just think about this. Like, it's like you having a job. Like, you go to work, and sometimes, man, you go out there, you put your best foot forward. Sometimes you want to give up, right? But you think about the people that you value most, who you love. Like your wife or your husband, or your kids, right? You're doing that for them because you got to bring home that money in order for you to pay them bills. Shoot, same way. They just in a different tax bracket. So the same pride that you have getting up in the morning, even though you might hit that alarm clock about 3 or 4 times, if you're like me, you get up and you have I have my wife on my mind, my son. That's what I'm thinking about. So when I don't feel like I can go on, I'm thinking about them. And that's my motivation. I'd rather see a complete rebuild with a different quarterback rather than play unsure and scared. AS, that may be, and look, it's fair. I understand where you're coming from, but this is where we're at. This is where the New Orleans Saints are at right now, right? This is where the New Orleans Saints are at. They are in the process of rebuilding. You got to see what you got, AS. Like, nobody. I used the example last time, a couple shows back when I was talking about one of my favorite movies being Shawshank Redemption. Tim Robbins, a very, very great actor, played Andy Dufresne, and he escaped from prison. And if you haven't seen this movie, then you're doing yourself a disservice. But he escapes from prison, right? And in order how he got out, he basically took a rock and hit a septic pipe, and he crawled through excrement in order for him to crawl out of the prison. But it just so happened that it was raining. And the famous, words of Morgan Freeman, who was the narrator in the movie, he said that Andy Dufresne crawled through miles of ish to come out clean on the other side. Right now, Saints fans, you're Andy Dufresne, right? You got, in order for you to be able to find freedom on the other side, you got to crawl through some ish. Nobody want to do it, right? Nobody wants to do it. Nobody likes how it smells. Nobody wants to roll around in it. But guess what? You're thinking about the ultimate goal, which is coming out clean on the other side. Just like Tim Robbins was in that movie. We are Andy Dufresne, ladies and gentlemen. This is Shawshank Redemption. This is Who Dat Redemption. The Saints we have been, like Andy, have been taking a pickaxe and picking at this wall. The hole is open. Pause. And we're crawling through this pipe in order for us to come out clean on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you're at right now. You're crawling right now. There you go, Pammy. Crawling to come out clean on the other side. Man, that's a great movie right there, man. One of the greatest movies of all time. Top 3 in my book. Forrest Gump, number 1. Shawshank Redemption, number 2. And, Coming to America, number 3. Well, it's a tie between Coming to America and Harlem Nights. How can you pick between the two? Just comedy classics right there. Let's see. TJ, who is the Rock Hammer? We've been using the Rock Hammer. We've been using the Rock Hammer. Like the Rock Hammer is is Kelly Boy, if you think about it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he trying to basically open this thing up, pause, in order for us to, to be able to escape free right now. I mean, who knows if this Rock Hammer gonna work or not? I don't know. But he doing a pretty good job right now, from what I see. I mean, they trending in the right direction when it comes to like trying to flip this roster. TJ, I seen a list today, and DraftKings put it out there. They had one face of the franchise. I seen that. I seen that, drama. I actually reposted that, but I'm gonna finish reading. It says face of the franchise for every team, and they got to us and they put not available. I was hot. Yeah, I seen that, man. But I mean, we all know that the Saints got Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. Like, we already know who the faces of the team are. But that was just a way for them to take shots at the Saints. But it's okay. Like I said, you absolve all that by winning. Let's see. I guess Jones Jr. is going to be our returner. Hopefully he can hold it down. That's going to be big for us this year. Yeah, I think he will, man. But because you need Rashid Shaheed. You need Rashid Shaheed to be a part of your offense. And I say, man, you got to put Rashid back there like in big moments. And you need to flip the field. Let's say fourth quarter or something like that. And maybe the Saints are trailing. They need to get into field goal range. That's when you put Shaheed in. At this stage of his career, at this stage of his career, like he needs to like separate himself from special teams because he's too valuable offensively. Gregory said, TJ, what you sipping on? I'm actually sipping on seltzer water, man. Man, look, that's kind of my guilty pleasure, man. It's so much that my wife actually bought me one of those seltzer makers. So yeah, man. So I'm drinking seltzer water right now, and I'm drinking like periodically because I don't know if you been here, but I've been dealing with a little bit of a cold, so trying not to cough on the air. So just trying to drink water periodically when I feel like I'm about to start. TJ, unlike Andy Dufresne, we don't keep a Rita Haywood poster up. We keep a bikini poster up. Oh. Next comment, man. Next comment. I'm not even gonna touch that one. Says TJ, the movie Life got to be up there. Yeah, it's up there, man. But I mean, it just kind of in the reason I'll get into that a little bit later, like as we close out the show. I'm gonna have to go ahead and I'm actually gonna do the State of NFL live tonight. So if you ain't doing nothing, you can come on over. I'm gonna do it live starting at 10:30. So I'm gonna put a link out there afterwards because I didn't set one up because I didn't think that we were gonna be having this much fun over here. But I think I'll just go ahead and do that live. I'm gonna talk about Rashid Rice. I'm talking about Rashid Rice, man. He's serving a 6-game suspension, from the NFL. And I'll get into that, man. That's what we're gonna be talking about tonight. So if y'all have any other questions pertaining to the NFL, just go ahead and come on over to the State of NFL when this is all said and done. Says you heard when that reporter asked Moore if Foskey is on the practice squad. That boy said nope, quick. Yeah, man. Look, that was shouts out to Matthew Paris, man. Matthew Paris, man. Like, look, I like Matthew, man. Matthew has this. He's funny, but he has like this type of humor, man. That like I feel like very few people appreciate. Like he has like this humor, like that may go over people's heads sometimes because like the way that he speaks, but he's funny, man. I love watching the Saints insiders, man. I mean, man, shouts out to Zach and Matt, my guy Rod, Luke. I know some of y'all have y'all reservation about Jeff Duncan, but Jeff, I like that show, man. I like that show. Like they just knowledgeable and it's just like they just sitting up there talking and having a good time. That's like one of my favorite like Saints podcast shows right now, man. So you ain't subscribed to that, like you might want to do that. I love that show, man. Even Jim Derry, man. Like Jim Derry be way out in left field sometimes with some of the things he be saying. But he's entertaining, man. Shouts out to all those guys, man. They do really good work over there. Says TJ, the New Orleans Saints of the 1990s was brutal to watch. Yeah, that's my era right there, brother. That's my era right there. 1990. That's when I can I guess I started to like understand the world around that time. And I understood very quickly that the New Orleans Saints weren't going to win on Sunday. I mean, it was just the reality of it. But, I love my squad, though. He used to have that joke my uncle used to often tell me. He said they used to have like a joke where, they said a person walked past a car and they seen 2 Saints tickets on the seat. And then the person who car it belonged to realized that his glass was broke and he found 4 Saints tickets on the seat. Like it was pretty bad, like back in the day. And I do want to mention this too, man. I seen this story. Somebody tell me if they heard this too. They're actually going to be giving discounts to like certain people that fall in a certain category inside of Superdome. I heard a story about that, but man, all this AI, artificial intelligence stuff that we got going on, I don't know what to believe no more, man. I don't know what to believe. People can create all these different stories and you put it in big white font. It's kind of hard. Like you got to wait for like and at this point, I can understand why people have a hard time believing me sometimes when I come out with certain things that I may hear. I get it because, man, this AI killing us, man. It's beneficial in certain ways. Don't get me wrong. it's beneficial in certain ways, but it's killing us, man. See, if Rattler goes 0-4 but is on fire, do you sit him? No. No, you don't. You know, like if the Saints are losing because they just lack the talent that the opposition has, like, you don't sit him. It's not his fault. The Little Giants had one of the greatest play calls in football history. Pammy know what it is. The annexation of Puerto Rico. And then she put it down there. Let's see, Saints and Pelican tickets should be half off as bad as we've been. Yeah, I mean, you got to get some butts in there somehow. Yeah, I saw that, TJ, but that sounds too good to be true. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's take a look at it, man. Like I said, we towards the end of the show. If anybody kind of joined in, and it seemed like everybody's having a good time because the numbers just continue to go up. So, but if you just came in and you want to kind of hear about the 53-man roster, feel free to rewind, okay? Be kind and rewind, like they used to say at Blockbuster Video, and you'll be able to see our takes and our thoughts. But if you're new to the channel, this is basically how it works. We start off with a topic, right? And the Who Dat Nation dictates the show. So I have a topic that I talk about. If, things aren't, people aren't really like, asking too many questions, and I'll expound on that. But we basically just answer questions from the Who Dat Nation. So if you want to hear about the 53-man roster and all that kind of stuff, you can go to the beginning of the show, check it out at, when this show is all said and done. We talked about it quite a bit, man. We talked about the 53-man roster. We gave all the names, the practice squad guys, the acquisitions, the guys that the Saints lost. So if you're just tuning in, then I guess that means you're an after show, boys.
Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show, boys. Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them after show, boys. They be tweet and be post. They be tweet and be post. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show, boys. They be tweet and be post. They be tweet and be post. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show, boys.
Out to all the people that just came here. Better late than never, Back in the 1990s, this man make it seem like this was like 1820. Back in the 1990s, the game was blacked out, so we had to listen to the home games on the radio. I want to believe, Kevin, that wasn't a typo. You just said the radio. We had to listen on the radio. Yeah, man, like back in the day. Hey, and I tell people all the time, man, that played an influence in my career path. That's the reason why I'm a radio broadcaster. That's my job, my everyday job. For those that don't know, people just think, "Oh man, TJ, you just a podcaster." Nah, I'm on the radio every single day, folks. You can download the app, Radio Baha'i WLGI. You can hear me every single day, 3 to 6. But yeah, man, that definitely helped my career path. I don't think I probably would be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for that. So yeah. But yeah, I remember them days though. That radio, like games were blacked out. Jim Henderson, late great Hoagie Gajan on the call. Yeah, man. Day of Reckoning was my favorite wrestling game growing up. Man, we didn't reach the part of the show we talk about wrestling and everything else. Said Buddy D almost made it. Yeah, man. Yeah, Buddy D was in them trenches, man. I wish he would have actually seen the New Orleans Saints hoist that Lombardi, man. But yeah. TJ, I live in Philly, and if you may recall, and whatever our boys are within driving distance, I tried to make it. Man, the Buffalo game figures to be a trip. Likely butt kicking, but it's a bucket list spot. Yeah, I mean, look. I always wanted to go to a Buffalo Bills game. They fans just seem like they're kind of insane, but in a good way, putting each other through tables, putting themselves through tables. I just want to see, is it over? Do they exaggerate it, or is it really like that? But from what I be seeing, it seems like, they really nuts like that. But I mean, when you spend most of the time, in Western New York and it's negative 20 degrees outside, I mean, you got to be a little bit of nutty to be out in that weather. TJ, you remember Danny Wolfle helmet was backwards? Yeah, man. Look, I watched Danny Wolfle when he was at Florida. I remember when he got beat to sleep by Tommy Frazier in the Nebraska Cornhuskers, man. I can remember that. Like, yeah, but Danny Wolfle, man, he was. Look, I'm gonna take up for old Danny. Danny came at the wrong time. Pause. Came at a time where the spread offense was basically kind of like in its infancy, and nobody knew what the heck it was, right? I think that he, like him, Cardell Stewart, like I feel like they just came at the wrong time. Even Randall Cunningham. Can y'all imagine Randall Cunningham in modern day NFL? Like he will literally be what Lamar Jackson is right now. I just think that some of these guys were like before their time. You know, I just think they were like before their time. That's cold different. Says Debo, thank you. TJ, what's your take on Rampage Jackson's son situation? Oh, that was insane. Oh my God. Like, first off, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think it was real. I'm gonna tell you why I didn't think it's real. Because if you slow it down, it almost looked like he's not even connecting with the punches. Now, I think the one thing that sent him to the hospital was when he basically lifted him up like a sandbag and dropped him and his head hit the canvas. That's why I feel like kind of knocked him out. Like I go back and look. Like I could be wrong. But when I slowed it down, it looked like the punches weren't connected. But I don't, man, but that goes back to what I was saying before. I feel like this nightcap or something. Like we just talk about just random stuff. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't know what to believe anymore. Like maybe y'all do, but I just don't know what to believe. Like it's so insane. You can literally be looking at something right now. The AI is just so sophisticated that you can't even believe what you're actually seeing with your own eyes. Like we see like pictures of like people in precarious situations that people have docketed and all these different things, man. It's like you don't know what to believe. Like you don't know what to believe. Like you don't know if, and especially with wrestling, man. They call it like a work or a shoot. Like you don't know if it's real or not. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what to believe. TJ, play that After Show Boys again. All right.
Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them After Show Boys. Shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out, shots out. To them After Show Boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them After Show Boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them After Show Boys.
Shouts out to all the After Show boys, After Show girls out there. Says TJ, I want to add that I definitely want to jump on a table with the Bills fan in my Breeze Color Rush jersey. They're a good kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, look, they loyal fans, man. They loyal fans. I mean, I just want to see if it's exaggerated or they really just putting each other through tables. I mean, I remember when Aaron Brooks went to the Raiders and got sacked 8 times. Did he smile when he did it? That's all. I'm just kidding. Sad, but a glorious moment. Hey, TJ, do you think you finally get double-digit sacks? Young get double-digit sacks. I think that this system it benefits him because it's going to benefit a lot of guys, man. I could be like speaking an exaggeration, but I don't know if y'all noticed this. But did the Saints defense look faster? Like in that final preseason game, ones were out there. Did y'all see? Like, did they look faster? Didn't it look like they were playing faster defensively? I mean, I could be tripping, but it looked like those guys were playing like really fast. It's like they were flying to the football. You know, like I don't know, man. Like they look faster, so I don't know. Like I think that this system may benefit them quite a bit. Because I mean, them dudes was like flying to the football. Like I'm talking about Ugo Amadi out there looking like Like, man, this man about to be like prime for a big time season. Like these dudes were flying around the field. That's the one thing that stood out to me. I was like, man, these dudes are flying around the field. I'm talking about, it was like, you know, like you look at something and you kind of zero in. It was like so much was going on defensively. It like every guy was like playing at 110 miles per hour. I don't know if they were just so excited to like get out there. It was like their first preseason action for a lot of those guys. I don't know what it was, but they were flying around that field. Like that's what I took away. Take a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, folks. Our defense is good. How can I put this? I'm not so much concerned about the defensive front or the second level. That third level concerns me. And what concerns me is the guy that, and look, could just be the fact that he was going up against a really good receiver. But Kool-Aid McKinstry did not look good against Courtland Sutton. And I ain't saying Courtland Sutton is the greatest wide receiver in the NFL, and that's the most concerning thing to me. Because we count on it. You're actually counting on this guy to be your number one. That's the thing that's concerning to me. So I need to see Kool-Aid, really turn it on. But that secondary concerns me. It concerns me, man. But yeah, I think that the front is going to be good. I think that you got some guys out there that's probably going to be really good. And I look, I'm hitching my wagon to Brian Brzee. I think he's going to be a double-digit sack, defensive lineman. Like, since they kind of took him away from being that nose and putting him on the end, you might see something from him. Quincy Riley had an interception on a screenplay. Yeah, that guy's talented. He was just not in game shape. Like I said, that he's the number one cornerback. So if you're number one cornerback out there not finding success, that's concerning. So, maybe it was just a tough outing. Courtland Sutton is a beast now. If you watch Broncos games or seen this guy over the years, like, it ain't like he just out there going up against, I don't know, Joe Mid. This guy's pretty good. Sinker had a clutch interception too. Look, bright spots all across the board for some of these young studs, man. Some of these young studs got me really optimistic about this team. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to each and every one of you that stopped by the show, rather for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or the whole entire show. If you've been here for the whole entire show, man, yeah, you my people. But anyway, like, all of you are my people. I really do appreciate it, man. Shouts out to everybody in the chat. Shouts out to everybody at home on social media platforms. I just ask that you hit the like button on any platform that you're watching this. All of those matter for the show in order for us to be able to grow as a channel. And I really appreciate that, man. Just take a few seconds to hit that like button. Also, previous episodes you can catch here on YouTube. State of NFL podcast is available on YouTube as well. Make sure you check that out. And also NFC South Roundtable every Tuesday at 8 p.m. That is available on YouTube also. You can follow me on X at TJAY-Jones8. And I'm trying to figure out any other things that I need to plug here. I hope everybody enjoying the 1-2 minute clips that I've been putting out. Most of it, I do those on Bleacher Report. I do a daily Saints talk between 1.5 to 3 minutes. So really been putting those out. Been getting a lot of positive responses about those. So we're going to continue to do that. Got one coming out tomorrow. More than likely, it's probably going to be focused on, Trey Palmer and some of the other acquisitions of the New Orleans Saints. Oh, yeah, I think I forgot to mention Trust, the offensive lineman from the Denver Broncos. Like, the Saints did pick up Trust. So I just wish that Mark Ingram was still on the team so he can say Big Trust. But, yeah, and he spells it the same exact way that that Mark Ingram refers to trust. So I mean that would just fit like a glove. But anyway, they're adding offensive linemen, different guys on the team, and I just like the direction the team is going in. But thank you all so much once again. Till next time, all I got to say is, who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast. Please subscribe to our channel.
All I got to say is, who that?